So it's December, and if you are living in Mexico, that means it is time for Christmas bonuses. And some of those bonuses are mandatory by law. So let's talk about those. They're called Aguinaldos, and also just tips that you should give to folks. So first, let's start with the ones that are required by laws. Typically 15 or half a month's salary is the minimum that you need to pay by December 20th of the year. So essentially this is just a way for people who are mostly underpaid to be able to have money to buy presents for the holidays or just pay off some debts or whatnot. But it is required, and for the most part, labor here is inexpensive, so if you do have folks working for you, it is really nice to give them this little extra at the end of the year. And like I said, for some folks, it is required. So let's talk about folks that it's required for. So anyone who's like providing you with a personal service, so if you have a housekeeper, if you have a pool person, if you have a caretaker, anyone who's working for you like repeatedly throughout the year, those are the people that you should be giving a aguinaldo to. So once again, minimum of half a month's pay. A lot of people though do pay a full month. And if you have folks that rely on you, that are working solely for you, there's a lot more complexity to this. Of course, you owe the aguinaldo, but there's probably other things that you owe to, but we're not going to get into that in this video. It's probably more common for people to have someone come clean their house once a week or twice a week or something and have other clients. But if they're working exclusively for you, be sure you are following all the rules of employment in Mexico. There are online calculators, so I'll put that down below. But essentially what I look at is just, kind of average throughout the year. Like our housekeepers, we pay them 800 pesos to come every other week while we're here, and then once in a while we're not here when we want the place cleaned. So we're looking at about 6 months of 1,600 pesos a month. So divide that out, and they'll be getting about 800 or 1,000 extra pesos. And it's really, these are people who are coming by our house anyway, so we just hand them that cash tip of 1,000 pesos, add it to when we pay them for this next Saturday when they come by. Same thing with the pool guy. He charges us 1,000 pesos a month, so when he comes by to clean the pool on Sunday, we'll just give him an extra 1,000 pesos. The caretaker, we'll just figure out what months that he's here, so we don't pay him and he's not here caretaking when we're not here, so we'll figure out what we should be paying him. Other people, probably there's people that might be a little more falling into a gray area, I guess. And it's just nice to give them a propina or a tip at the end of the year. So this might be folks that you have come by that are contractors. It's not required, but it is just a nice thing to just give them a little something extra at the end of the year. So contractors, like our dog walkers, or not our dog walkers, but our dog sitter who just kind of comes by every once in a while. It's nice to give her something extra. And it's not required for just a typical contractor. So someone comes by, wants to paint your wall or something like that. This is really meant for people who you're depending on throughout the year for assistance. So maybe if you're living in a condo or something, this could be the person who's at the front desk. Or it's nice to tip people who are your delivery people. If you are a person who's getting a lot of packages, give them something extra if you get packages in December. Also, maybe the folks that wash your car. So if you are getting your car washed every once in a while, go ahead and give them something a little extra. One that is a little bit complicated is your garbage folks. So I posted this online because I wasn't quite sure of the best answer to provide here. And essentially, during the month of December, and earlier is better because that gives folks a chance to do some shopping and whatnot before the holidays. December 20th is kind of the legal date where you have to pay some of these out. But for your garbage folks, really nice to give them, most people were saying about 200 pesos for each person. And there's typically maybe 3 people in the truck. Nice to give them each 200 pesos or 100 pesos or 300 pesos. It's really up to you. Some people said you can give the driver kind of like a 500 peso note or something, and they will split it out. So there's a number of options, but the problem is trying to catch them. So yesterday was garbage day, according to our neighbors. We just got here, so we never know exactly when the garbage is going to be picked up. So this was me yesterday. The tricky part here is you gotta be able to catch them. So often I'm not even sure which day our garbage is collected. We just kind of leave it out there by the street, and sometimes it disappears. And you also have to listen for them. I guess in some places they will honk the horn or yell or something and be very obvious. For us, it's a little difficult because I'm here in my office and I can hear the street, but even if I heard the garbage collectors, I'd have to run to catch them. So I put the garbage out this morning. My neighbor said that today's the day. They come on Tuesday mornings. It's almost the end of morning. So let's go and see if I miss them and the distance I need to go to be able to get to them. So here's my office, and you can see there's the window. The window's been open all morning, and I haven't heard them, but I've had a couple of client meetings where I wasn't really paying attention. So let's see if they're out there or if they've been out there. So Kat is out having coffee this morning, so Nugget is waiting for her at the gate. Okay, still going. Okay, so the good news is they haven't picked up the garbage yet, so I didn't miss them. So I've just got to continue waiting around. Now it is early December, and you're supposed to pay the legal Aguinaldo by the 20th. One thing I've heard is that the closer you get to the 20th, the more likely the garbage men have brought a number of their friends in the truck so that they can essentially each get 200 pesos. Also, that is giving them time to purchase presents for the holidays. And as I mentioned, it is not required to do this. This is more tipping, not Aguinaldo. Aguinaldo does need to be given from their employer, does need to be paying them that. But even with the Aguinaldo, these folks are making very little money. And if you're down here living in Mexico, you can probably afford to make their holiday season a little nicer. And if you're feeling like you'd like to give a tip to your favorite YouTubers, down below there's a link to buy us margaritas. We would love to celebrate December with a couple extra margaritas. Thank you. I think maybe I hear the garbage truck. See my neighbor driving. Maybe that's what I heard. So that wasn't it, but I decided that I should put the garbage can right on the edge there, so it's not really in the middle of the road, but I'll be able to see it from closer to the house. And this was our garbage can this morning at 8 a.m. We totally missed them. I never heard them come by. I have no idea what time they came by, but looks like I'll be trying again next week to catch them. So I'm sure there's some other examples of folks that should be getting either Aguinaldos or tips. So if you are living in Mexico, be sure to include those down below so that folks can look through there and kind of see if they're missing someone that they should give a tip to. And otherwise, read down there if you're new to Mexico. But it's something that we weren't familiar with before we got here, so I wanted to share this with you because it is expected and as I mentioned, in some cases, the only legal thing to do. So otherwise, I've got some more great videos for you. There's a couple of videos on the screen right now that would be perfect just for you. Hasta luego.